ACH Fanindra, working as a faculty in Computer Science Department. I am dealing software engineering subject, Lab 6, semester 5, requirement and analysis. So, okay, before going to discuss about the requirement analysis, we are discuss about the inside modules. Okay, so what are those modules are? Requirement analysis, and next one requirement engineering process, and third one feasibility study, and next one fourth one problem of requirements, and next one software requirement analysis, next one analysis concepts and principles, and finally analysis models and analysis process. So these are the sub-modules we are discuss about in this chapter. That is called second unit requirement analysis. So before going to discuss about the analysis, so what is the requirement analysis? How can you gather information? So that is the purpose we are discussing about the requirement analysis. So generally we have to need something, means what we have to require some information. How can you define the information? So based on it can be consisting of the 5 factors. That is called questionnaire marks. That is called questionnaire marks. So what are those questionnaire marks? What, who, when, where. So these are the some questionnaires raised. Then based only we can gather some information. That is called WH5 principles. This is proposed by Berry Boyle. Based on these 5 questionnaire marks, we can identify the requirements and we can analyze the requirements. Okay, so these are the process we have to follow to gather the requirements. Okay, so generally the software requirements are description. Okay, the software requirements are description of the features and functionality of the desired system. So desired system is called target system. Okay, so desired system is called target system. So generally requirements tells the expectations of the users, expectations of the users from the software product. Like for example, known or unknown, expected or unexpected from the client point of view. Okay, so simple here the definition is called, simple definition is called the software requirements or description of the features and functionalities of the desired system, that is called target system. Okay, so coming to the, so generally requirements engineering, so the process to gather, what type of gather we have to need some information, that is the call we have to define here, the process to gather the software requirements from the client side. Where you can gather, where you can get the information, you can get the information from the client side. That is the sentence here. See, the process to gather the software requirements from the client and analyze the document. Analyze the document, then it is known as requirement engineering. See, what is the definition of the requirement engineering? What you have to defining the process, that is called gather the software requirements from where? From client side and analyze the document. What you have to defining the document, that type of document is also called as requirement engineering. So generally the goal of the requirement engineering is to develop, maintains the descriptive of the system. What you have to defining the functionality specifications. Okay, so generally requirement engineering, so generally requirement engineering process, it can be consisting of the 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 steps we have to follow to process requirement engineering. So what are those 4 steps? Feasibility study, and second one, first one feasibility study, second one requirement gathering, and third one software requirement specification, and fourth one software requirement validation. These are the 4 steps we have to follow process the requirement engineering. Okay, so first one is called feasibility. So what is a feasibility? So what is a feasibility mean? When the client approaches the organization, client is nothing but user. Okay, when the client approaches the organization for getting the desired product development, it comes upon the, it comes means the desired product, what you have to defining the product, it comes upon the with a rough idea about what all the functionalities is necessary inside the product that software must perform and which all features are expected from the software. So okay, generally this feasibility study is focused on the goals of organization. So coming to the next one, requirement gathering. So gathering requirements from the, where you can gather the requirements, you can gather the requirements from the customer side or user side. Okay. So generally, analyst and engineers are communicate. So here, who can gather the requirements? Analysts and engineers communicate with the client and end users to know their idea, what they have to define. Okay, analysts and engineers communicate with the client and end users to know their ideas and what the software should be provide and which features they want to store inside the software. So that is the purpose here we using requirement gathering. Okay. So generally software requirement specification. The next one is the software requirement specification. So software requirement specification is called as SRS. SRS means S for software, R means requirement, S means specification. So generally software requirement specifications created by the system analyst. Who can create this type of SRS? System analyst is created after the requirements are collected from the various stakeholders. When it was created, after the requirements are collected from where? Various stakeholders. Then only after gathering the requirements, then only we can create the SRS. Who can create it? System analyst is the creator for SRS. So generally the SRS defines how the intended software will be interact with the hardware. So generally SRS defines, it can be simply SRS, it can be consisting of how can you interact with the hardware and how can you interact with the external interfaces and speed of operations as well as the response type of the system. Okay, how much time it will be open, how much access will be produced, like that, and security and quality, what are the limitations we have to provide. So these are everything we have to provide it inside the SRS. Okay, so generally the requirements received from the client. Okay, the requirements, where you can get the requirements, you can get from the client side and also written in natural language. Natural language is nothing but what you have to define, what we are talking in natural language like English. Okay, high level language, we have to define that language only. So okay, so coming to the next one, generally software requirement specification should features. So those few software, generally software requirements consisting of the some of the features. Those features are, so generally user requirements are expressed in natural language. Okay, so what you have to defining the requirements as per user point of view, those requirements are defined in natural language only. Okay na, means we are not defining some special language like a binary format. We are not defining that language, we are only defining natural language. Okay, so again, next one, technical requirements are expressed in structured language. What you have to define in technical, so which is used inside of organization. Okay na? So next one, design description should be written in pseudocode. Design description, after gathering the requirements you have to defining, then after based on the requirements you have to design description. What you have to defining the requirements, based on the description we have to written that requirements in pseudocode. Okay, so next, based on that one you have to design GUI screen prints. GUI is graphical user interface. So then after we have to define conditional and mathematical notations for DF, DS and ETC. Conditional and mathematical means what you have to designing, what you have to GUI representation. Based on the GUI representation, we have to define flow diagrams. Flow diagrams means data flow diagram. Based on the data flow diagrams, we have to define some condition and mathematical notations we have to apply. So just software requirement validation. So what is a software requirement validation? After requirement specification in the sense means who can define the SRS? System analyst. Okay. After the requirement specifications are developed, the requirements mentioned in this document are valid or not. So that is the purpose we are using in this software requirement validation apply. So generally the requirements can be checked the following condition. Okay, how can you check the requirements? Okay, so first one, if the can practically implemented, if the can practically implemented or not, we can check everything, we can check it out, implemented or not. So that is the purpose we are using, validation purpose. Okay, if they can be practically implemented. So next one, if they are valid and as per functionality and domain of the software, means if they can be practically implemented. So based on the implementation, the given functionality is valid or not based on the module, is nothing but module, if they are valid or not as per the functionality and domain of the software. If there are any ambiguities. Okay, so these are the requirements can be checked with the following conditions. So next one, requirements elicitation. So what is the requirement elicitation process? So generally requirements elicitation process can be depicted using the following diagram. So means requirement elicitation process can be consisting of the following diagram. So first one, the diagram is here, requirement gathering, and second one requirement organization, and third one negotiation, requirement specification. So these are the four steps you have to follow requirement solicitation process. So generally what is a requirements gathering? The developers means who can develop the project. Who can develop the project, that means developers. The developers discuss with the client and end users and know their expectations from the software. Okay, how can you gather the requirements? So they have to gather the some requirements based on the client side. Client, what they want, what they need, based on the client expectations, we have to develop something the software. That is the purpose we are using the requirements gathering. So coming to the next one, organization requirement. Organizing the requirements means the developers prioritize. The developers priority and arrange the requirements in order to importance. Okay, we have to define some priority. First this one implemented, next after it will be go to next one. So one by one it will be give some priority wise, step by step. So that is the purpose we are using the organization requirement. So next one, negotiation discussion. If the requirements are ambiguous or there are some conflicts and in requirements of various stakeholders. Okay, means we have to define what you have to define in the requirements we can. So generally the requirements come from the various stakeholders. Actually what I am saying is, so generally requirements, where I can get the requirements, I can get the requirements from various stakeholders to remove the ambiguity and conflicts. I means we can define unclear definitions, and unclear definitions we can remove. We can define only define the conditions. They are discussed in the clarity and correctness. Coming to documentation. Documentation means all formal, informal, functional and non-functional requirements are documented and made available for the next processing. Documentation is processing. That is the C diagram. So requirement gathering, first one, requirement organization and discussion, and next one specifications. So the requirement elicitation technique. So generally requirement elicitation techniques, requirements elicitation is the process to find out the requirements. Find out the requirements, communicating with the client and end users. Okay. So generally requirement elicitation is the find out the something, means we have to communicate with the client and end users, system users and the others in the software system development. Okay, so generally it can be consisting of the, we have to discuss some modules inside the requirement solicitation techniques. How can you define interviews? Based on the conducting interviews, and next one based on the written interviews. Okay, so what is the interviews? To collect the requirements. To collect the requirements means we can consider the requirements from the user point of view. We can collect the information from the client side. That is the purpose we are using, interviews we are conducting. Organization may conduct several types of interviews. Okay. So generally we have to gather the information like interviews we are conducting several types in our organization. Those are oral interviews. Second one is the written interviews, one-to-one interviews, group interviews. What is your oral and written interviews and one-to-one interviews? Generally, oral interviews and written interviews is one-to-one interviews which are held between two persons across the tables. Okay, so group interviews which are held between group of peoples. A group of peoples. That is the purpose we are using. We are conducting number of interviews. So generally software requirements broadly categorized into two types. How many types? Two types. Those are functional requirements and next one non-functional requirements. So generally functional requirements, some of the example is search option. One search option. Search option given to user to search from various invoices. User should be able to mail any report to management. And also user can be divided into groups and groups can be given separate rights. So these are the example of the functional requirements. Okay. So coming to the non-functional requirements. In this non-functional requirements consisting of the various categories. Okay. Non-functional requirements it can be consisting of the totally. It can be depend upon the security. We can provide the security and we can essential logins, credentials. We have to define some credentials is nothing but logging, and next one storage, and define the configuration and what the performance of the system and what the performance of the functionality and what's the total cost, and next one flexibility, and next one accessibility. So these are the some non-functional categories. Okay. So general requirements are categorized into four types. What are those? Must have, should have, could have, wish list. Must have means without operational we can't do. Should have, enhancing the functionality of the software. Could have, it will be properly working those requirements. And next one, wish list. Requirement do not map the any objectives of the software. These are the four categories of the logically. So next one coming to the user interface requirement. UI means user interface. UI is an important part of any software or hardware system. Why? Because based on the UI, we have to get the something. We have to easily identify how it will be moving, how it will be processed. How can you identify based on the UI? So here see, user interface requirements is the main important role. UI is an important part of any software or hardware. Software, we can use UI inside the software as well as the you can use UI inside the hardware. So that is the purpose we are using. UI is one of the part of in our organization. So by using the user interface requirement, we can access easy to operate. Based on the UI, we can operate easy to. Okay, and then and based on the UI, you can access quickly. You can access quick in response time. Means UI is an important part of any software or hardware system. Okay, na? A software is means a UI it can be consisting of a software. A software is widely accepted, that is easy to operate. Based on the UI, you can operate easy. Okay, na? Coming to next one, quick in response, effective handling operational errors, providing simple, consistent user interface. Software system analyst. It is the responsibility of the analyst. It is the responsibility who can responsible. Analyst is the responsible. The responsibility of the analyst to make sure that the developed software meets the requirements of the client. So system analyst is the main role to develop the something. That is the purpose, means it is the responsibility of the analyst to make sure that the development software meets the requirements. Developer meets the system analyst work. What is the purpose of the system analyst work? System analyst make to show that the develop what they have to develop, that software meets the requirements of the client. Means identify the source of the requirement, validation of the requirement, development and implementation of the requirement, management plan and documentation of the business, technical process and product requirements, and finally acceptance criteria with the client and other stakeholders. So this is the work system analysts do. And next one, feasibility study. Feasibility study is defined the practical extent to which a project can be performed successfully. Practical extent, what you have to define in the requirements, what you have to define the requirements or information. Based on the that information, we have to extend some more features to existing system. That is the purpose we are using feasibility study. The definition of the feasibility study is defined as the practical extent which a project can be performed successfully. So generally the types of feasibility studies can be consisting of the four types: technical feasibility, operational feasibility, economic feasibility, schedule feasibility. So the diagrammatic representation of the feasibility is here. This is the diagrammatic representation of the feasibility study. Okay. So what is the economic feasibility? Economic feasibility, it can be consisting of the time, cost, time. Okay. So technical feasibility, it can be consisting of the risk analysis. Okay, now. So we have to discuss one by one here. See. So what is a technical feasibility? So this technical feasibility performs some following tasks. Those tasks are analyze the technical skills. We can analyze something skills. We can analyze the technical skills and capabilities of the software development team members. Okay, see here. So we have to develop the something product. So before developing the software, first of all, what I can observe first, he can develop a project or not. He can suitable to develop that project or not. So we can analyze technically. So that is the purpose we are using technical feasibility. Analyzes the technical skills. I can analyze the technical skills that person enabled to do it or not. So I can analyze that person capabilities. That is the purpose we are seeing. Analyze the technical skills and capabilities of the software development team members. The team members are developed the given product or not, given project or not. We can analyze. Next one, operational feasibility. In operational feasibility, perform a series of steps to solve business problems and user requirements. In operational feasibility, we have to identify the business problems and user requirements. We have to identify the problems of the user requirements and what are the business problems are occurred in defining the requirements. The operational feasibility also perform some of the following tasks. Those are determine whether solution suggested by the software development team is acceptable. Means determines whether the solution, what they have to defining the solution suggested by the software development team is acceptable. Next one, economic feasibility. Economic feasibility, it can be consisting of the financial purpose we are using. For example, financial gains for an organization. We have to estimated cost as well as the hardware, means estimated cost of the hardware and software, cost of performing feasibility. These are the under part of the economic feasibility. So next one, scheduled feasibility. The scheduled feasibility, it can be consisting of the currently have the time resources to undertake the project. Scheduled feasibility means what you have to define in the project. This is my project. This project I will be completed within the 2 weeks. First week it will be completed one module. Second week I will be completed second module. Okay. So we have to define some certain time. We have to define particular time. We have to define, that is the called scheduled feasibility. Means scheduled feasibility means what you have to define the currently, what they have to define in the time resources to undertake the project. Within the time we have to complete it or not. Okay. So these are the scheduled feasibility. So what are the problems of requirement? Coming to the next one. What is a requirement? Requirements is nothing but we have to defining the resources. We have to defining the requirements from the customer point of view. So okay, what they have to defining the requirements, based on that one we have to gather, and what are the problems inside their requirements. Those problems we can identify and resolve it. Those requirements are called problems of requirements. So generally problems or requirements can be consisting of the various problems. So okay, generally you have to define problem one. Problem one, customers don't know what they want. So generally customer they need some project. So they need some product, but they don't know exactly what are the requirements we need to develop that type of project. So but they know some requirements. So but they don't know exactly. So that is the main problem here we can identify. So next one, problem two, requirements changed during the course of the project. Means requirements are changing during the course of the project. We can change the requirement based on the customer point of view. We can change the number of times. Okay, that is the purpose. We have to identify the problem. And also another problem, customer have unreasonable timelines. So customers have, we don't have any time. Customer they don't know how much time to develop that particular, how much time we have to spend. So they don't know exact time. So coming to fourth one, communication gaps existing between the customers and engineers and the project manager. So these are the main problems. Those problems is called problems of requirements. How can you identify the problems of requirements? Problem one, customer don't know what they want, what they need. So next one, requirements changing during of the course of the project. Requirements is changing every time. So when I can change? Which time I will be changed? I don't know. Problem 3. Customers have unreasonable timelines. They don't know what the time we required. And next one, communication gap between the customer and engineers and project manager. These are the main problems we can identify and we can solve it. Okay. So generally, coming to next one, software requirements analysis. Analysis we can analyze. Okay, requirement analysis is the process of understanding the customer needs. Requirement analysis means it's the process of understanding what type of process we have to define. The process we have to understanding the customer point of view. That is the called customer needs and expectations from a proposed system. Here, so what they have to define in the existing system, based on the existing system, we have to define the proposed system. That is the purpose we are using the requirement analysis. Okay. Based on that one, we have to define well-defined stage in the software development lifecycle model. So generally, software requirement analysis may be divided into given areas of effort. So generally software requirement analysis we can effort in some areas. Those areas are, first of all, problem recognition. For example, client approaches to me, I am the developer. So client approaches to me, they give some work. They need to develop some product. Okay, first of all, what I can do? What are the problems are there? What they give to me. Okay, so those problems I can identify. That is the purpose, problem recognition. And so what are the evaluation and synthesis inside the project, and what are the modeling we are using. So what are the specifications we need to develop customer point of view, and finally review. So these are the areas I can identify to solve the problems. Requirements illustration for the software. So generally illustration is the practice for researching. Illustration is the, so means illustration is the practice of research. Researching and discovering the requirements of the system. Researching and the requirements of the system from the users customers and stakeholders. Okay, we can identify the requirements. That is the purpose we are using the illustration. So generally requirements illustration for the software, initiating the process means we have to defining the process, and next one, what are the techniques we are using, and finally quality function deployment. Quality function deployment based on the require what type of technique we are using. That technique translate the needs of the customer based on the customer into the technical requirements for the software. So generally quality function deployment, this can be consisting of the identify three types of requirement. Those are normal requirements, expected requirements, existing requirements. So these features go behind the customer's expectations and prove to very satisfy when they present. So next one, analysis principles. So all analysis models are related by a set of operational principles. All analysis models, what they have to defining the models, those models are, all analysis models are related by set of operational principles. Okay. The informational domain of a problem must be represented and understood. The information, what they have to defining the information domain, that domain we can identify the problem must be represented. We have to define the problem must be represented, and we have to understood that problem. The function that the software is to be performed must be defined. The functions that the software is to be performed must define. The behavior of the system must be represented. The software requirement specification. So generally the SRS specification format consisting of the following manner. Introductions can be consisting of the SRS, it can be consisting of the introduction, information description, means what they have to defining the, that is called information description, and what are the functional description about SRS, introduction, information description, functional description. The software requirement specification format can be consisting of the first introduction, next one information description, functional description, behavior description, validation criteria, and appendix. These are the specifications we have to need. So right now, let us discuss about the analysis model. It's a part of the second unit. Okay. So what is a analysis model? So generally, analysis model is a technical representation of the system. It is a technical representation of the system. Like it's an act of link between the system description, that is the called system information, and what you have to defining the system information, as well as the which model we are using, that is the called designing model. This is the simple definition of the analysis model. Once again I can repeat this same sentence. System model is a technical representation. Okay, technical representation of the system. It acts like between the system description and designing model. This is the called analysis model. So in this analysis model, it can be consisting of the, what I can define before the definition, it can be consisting of the information as well as the behavior of the functionality of the given system. That is the call, it will be translated in the architecture. It will be translated into the architecture components and interface level designing in the designing model. This is the simple definition of the analysis model. So generally the diagrammatic representation of the analysis model, it can be consisting of the 4 phases. It can be consisting of the 4 phases. Those 4 phases are scenario based element, second one is the class based element, and third one is the behavior based elements, and fourth one is the flow oriented elements. So these are the models. So we are discuss about these 4 phases one by one. So first of all, scenario based elements, it can be consisting of the use case diagrams. So what is a use case diagrams? You can let us discuss about the one by one. Okay. So what is a scenario based elements? So generally analysis model it can be consisting of the elements. What is a element? So generally analysis models can be consisting of the first element is called scenario based element. In the scenario based elements represent the system user point of view. System user point of view, that is the called. We are using use case diagrams and user stories. So what is a use case diagram? So generally use case diagram is a behavior of the UML diagram. So what is a UML? UML means unified modeling language. Based on the UML diagram, frequently to analyze the various systems. Okay, how can you pass information from one to another one? That is the purpose we are representation the UML diagrams. So generally this type of visualization effects in our system to develop designing models. So generally use case diagram objects it can be consisting of the four objectives. Use case diagram consisting of the four types of objectives. Those are actor, next one use case, third one system, and fourth one package. So okay, what is a actor, what is a use case, what is a system package? So actor means actor in a use case diagram is an entity that performs a role in one given system. So by using the actor we can perform some in our system. Okay, so this could be a person. Like actor is nothing but simple definition, the actor is nothing but a person or organization or an external system, and usually draw some skeleton of show below. So like use case, see the diagram. So use case, some we are using some different types of symbols. So we are discuss one by one that symbol purpose. Okay, use case, the use case represent a function or an action within the system. It's drawn as an vowel and named with the function. So generally the diagrammatic representation is called vowel symbol. So coming to next one, system. The system is used to define the scope of the use case. Scope of the use case and draw a rectangle shape. So we can represent the rectangle shape. So coming to next one, package. So what is a package? The package is another optional element is the another optional we are using or not, but it is an optional element that is the externally useful in complex diagrams. So generally this type of package used for complex diagrams. So okay, so the diagrammatic representation see here. So based on the diagrammatic, how it will be moving the from data from one to another one. So the diagrammatic representation, see the class registration. So student, so actor is called student and fee structure. If you can pay, listen classes like that. So based on the diagram, we can use case diagrams. So this is the example of the use case diagram. Next one, second element, class based element. So what is a class based element? The object of this type, of elements manipulated by the system. So once we can defining the object, based on the object we can manipulate the something on in the system. Like for example, once we can for a best example we can define, just assuming, not exactly, just assuming, consider. So once I can create a class. So whenever I can create a class, based on the class I can define one objective. Based on that one objective I can call number of methods in our class. Same like here example of the class based element. The objective of this type of elements manipulated by the system. So that is the simple. It defines the objective, attributes and relationships. So once again repeated, class based elements it can be consisting of the objective. The objective of this type of elements manipulated by the system. Generally, it defines the objectives. It defines the objectives, attributes, and relationships. So the diagrammatic representation C. The diagrammatic representation C. This is the diagrammatic representation of the relationship between the class. So generally see the diagram. So class name, attribute, generalization, association, multiplicity, aggregation. So we are using different types of relationships we are using to draw the diagram. So this is the best example of the class based elements. So next one, behavioral elements. So behavioral elements represent of the system and how it will be changed by the external event, how it will be changed by the not internal, how it will be changed by the external event. This is called behavioral element. So the behavioral elements are sequence diagram, state diagram. So generally this type of behavioral elements representation on the based on the sequential diagrams as well as the state diagrams. Based on the sequential diagrams, state diagrams, we can represent the behavioral elements. So behavioral elements represent of the system and how it is changed by the external events. The behavioral elements are sequence diagram, state diagrams. So these are the examples of the sequence diagram, state diagrams of the behavioral elements. What is a sequence diagram? A sequence diagram shows object interactions arranged in time sequence order. Okay, based on the time sequence, we can interacted between one to another one. So sequential wise. So sequence of messages exchanged between the objects needed to carry out the functionality of the scenario. So let us discuss sequence diagrams are sometimes called event diagrams as well as the another name event scenarios. Okay, so this is the definition of the sequence diagrams. So the diagrammatic representation of the sequence diagram, see. So these are the some rectangles. So how it will be moving the exchanging the information from one to another. This is the simple diagrammatic representation of the sequence diagram. So generally a sequence diagram shows that based on the above diagram, shows a parallel vertical lines called lifelines. Okay, parallel vertical lines are called lifelines, and different process or objects that are different process or objects that live simultaneously, and a horizontal arrows the messages exchange between them. Based on the horizontal arrows, we can pass the message. Pass means we can exchange the message between them, each one. So in order to, based on the above diagram. So generally a state diagram describes the behavior of a single object in response to a series of events in a system. So okay, let us see. So this UML diagram model the dynamic flow of control from the state to state of particular object within a system. So this is the number of examples we are draw here. Okay. So next one, coming to next element, flow oriented elements. So flow oriented elements. In these flow oriented elements, it can be consisting of the data flow diagrams as well as the control flow diagrams. Let us consider next topic, analysis process. So what is an analysis process? The objective of requirement analysis to create a requirement specification. Okay. So what is the purpose of the analysis process? My intention is the objective of requirement analysis to create a requirement specification document or a target document. So okay, the process models will be consisting of the to create a requirement specification document or a target document. It describes much detail, clear detail and unambiguous manner as possible exactly what the product should do. That is called analysis process. So the project plan including detail of delivery times and cost estimation. So generally a project plan consisting of the details of delivery time and cost estimation. For example, whenever you can deliver the project, we can consider what we can consider time as well as the cost, total everything we can estimate. So the diagrammatic representation of the cost estimation, see this is the example of the project plan cost estimation. So what are the software functionality we are using, what are the prototyping we are using, what are the planning we are using, how many times we can review, how many times we can call planning. So these are the diagrammatic representation of the total delivery and cost estimation.